Yes, hello, welcome to the new stream. I'm here to finish, finally, the back art project. I've been sick the last week, so I couldn't make it for the deadline. I could exhibit it as is right now, because it's already sort of functional and expressing what I intended to create or express with it. But I still had a few ideas, and I was wondering if I could still make it by tomorrow. So that's why I decided to do a live now, and by tomorrow it can dry, and tomorrow afternoon I can drop off at the place. So it's way over deadline, but yeah, the people there are also sick, so it might be that the exhibition is postponed with a few days anyway. So we are still on time. Universe works with us. And now, for those who have not followed the first part, this is a bag that is expressing the Hungarian nationality, because each one of us from the group received the same textile bag. You could still see how it's set together, so it's just a blank textile bag, and I worked with acrylic one and a scissor, as you can see. And I've cut out some symbols, and those symbols are Hungarian healing symbols. So today I will also talk about in detail what those symbols mean, especially because I want to write it in a way above the symbols, what they mean in a word or just a few words, but that it still looks okay with that head done. Yeah, that's quite a challenge, because I only received 150 words for the description, and I could write a book about that topic. By the way, I've also brought a book for today which inspired me in my work for symbols on clothes, and that has been a plan and an intention for a long time. I want to create clothes with healing symbols on it, because what we wear, even the colors we wear, I don't know about you guys, but it does affect my mood, how I feel, how if I can breathe in the textile. So since I am more aware of this, and I'm doing yoga especially, I just cannot bear wearing some of the artificial textiles anymore. So because I feel that my body is suffocating in it, it cannot breathe. So for a pullover that is really warm, it's perfect. But then there is, for example, recycled polyester, which is brilliant. And they can make very, very soft pullovers or vests or those things out of it, which is brilliant. It's very soft. Amazing what they can do with plastic already. The last times. So, and yeah, also with the symbols that are on it, I noticed that I couldn't wear, the more I got to the spiritual path, sometimes when I'm going to a metal concert, I'm still wearing those t-shirts, but I can't wear them for long and I just don't feel drawn to wearing them anymore because it does affect you in one way or another. And if you're not sensitive to this, or you're just really love a band, yeah, please go ahead. It will, if it brings you joy, then it will bring you joy anyway. So it's always representing also what is in us, right? But I can't, and also black I cannot wear already at least 10 years, if not more, just because the color black is very interesting. It closes down the outside world, but it also closes down our energy flow. And if you're more sensitive to the energy flow, then it will just close that down. Absolutely. Very, very funny. You can use that consciously, by the way. So that's a great thing if you know that, because if you just need some own space and don't want anyone to meddle with your energy or personal place, then or space, then wearing black can be a good solution to keep that space untouched. For example, I had a colleague at the yoga school who was very present, and for me she felt sort of chaotic, like over present. I still like her a lot, but it was difficult for me to connect with her. And once she wore black intentionally, because she said, now I need my own space. Great. And we were chatting and I just felt so great. So those energies were nowhere. So it is really closing down everything outwards and inwards. So if you aim that, that's great, but just make sure you are still connected and happily flowing. If you need that, of course, because sometimes we have periods when we need to be more in our own energy, and that's okay. I'm cutting a little bit out those holes to see the forms better. The acrylic one, which I put on a textile, it makes it firm, so the bag can stand on the side, because it is not a bag anymore. I intended it as a lamp, so I will put a colorful bulb in the middle, or just a little lamp on battery, and it just vibrate. During the day it won't be really visible, but in the evening hours it's still quite soon dark. Then you will see the lamp in it, so it gives a very different effect. I will ask them if they can put it maybe to a dark place. Alright. And funnily enough, the acrylic one completely hardened. It hardened much faster than I anticipated, because what I've read on the internet about it, it said I have about an hour to work with it. Now that was not entirely true. After 20 minutes, and I was nowhere with the bag yet, it started to thicken as much that it just cemented in the pot, basically, and that's why this side is so rugged. But okay, it was an experiment, and experiments have this tendency to go wrong. And it's not necessarily wrong because I didn't intend to create something beautiful. I just intended to create something that is expressing my intentions. I really have to get rid of that tendency to only express the beautiful. Also with my emotions, by the way, I notice I do need to let out much more my anger, so the ugly feelings, and just give it a voice, just to express it, shouting or throwing things or no matter what. Hey Birangel, welcome. Oh, so nice of you to be here. So yeah, we are learning. And that's the same with the beauty in the creations, in the works, because not everything is beautiful. So we also have to vocalize things that are not beautiful. Of course, we can maybe do it in a way that is not hurting others, but sometimes others will feel hurt even though we don't intend to hurt them, just by the truth. And that's not our fault. But still, what I'm learning right now and experience right now is the truth is always just so much better, is so liberating. For example, I told you guys I had to talk with someone about a very difficult topic, and it was my mom, by the way, but it's no secret. But I'm by nature someone who really avoids conflict at all costs, before at least. And now, because I didn't want to bring it at Christmas, I was just waiting. But okay, first week of January passed and I still did nothing. So sometimes I can be just too comfortable in staying away from life. And that is exactly what I did. But then a throat ache. I got such a strong throat ache, and I know because I live in this synchronicity already in the past decade, so I pretty much know when my throat aches, then I have to vocalize something that doesn't feel nice or just go into a conflict that I don't like. This is how my body lets me know, hey girl, it's time, go ahead. Of course, it would be great if I shouldn't have to wait for the throat ache and I would just do it without it, but I'm learning. As all of us here, of course. So yeah, funny thing, I had a throat ache, and so painful, guys, as they were stabbing knives in my throat. Really, it was amazingly painful. And then I made the connection one evening that, okay, yeah, I have to call my mom. Got the message, thanks. So the next morning, it was even worse. I couldn't swallow anymore. And then I called my mom. We talked it out. Actually, it wasn't a problem. I just said no to something she asked me to do. And I said, no, sorry, mom, I can't do it with good heart. I'm not okay with that. And she said, yeah, it's okay, no problem. I'm so surprised, first of all. But then by the end of the same day, the throat ache was gone. Huh? Ta-da! And yeah, you could say that's not connected, but if you live your life in the knowledge that it is connected and you pay attention to those signs, then there's no point denying it anymore. Those things are really helping us, any sickness or any symptom. There are brilliant books about it. My favorite is from Jacques Martel, and it's a lexicon of psychosomatic diseases. I keep reading it for a decennia now, and it's a huge knowledge. There helps us to understand the psychological background of every disease, which doesn't mean that the physical side is not there, but it makes sure if you get into something that you also understand why it happens. And plus you cure the physical part, but then you have much better chances to go through it and make sure it does not come back. Or yeah, if it's a flu, you have quite a good chance that it will come back, but I haven't had a flu for years, so this sickness, this was just a flu. It was very weird to experience. I noticed that the discomforts in my body I was really not comfortable with anymore, because like, huh, what the heck? Am I back in time? No, but okay, it can happen. And after all, I was really grateful for this sickness because it gave me the time to relax, which usually I still don't allow myself enough after 2 years of burnout. Ching ching! For those of you who need some rest, do it before you get into such a situation, because guys, it's not something I would suggest to anyone. And the emotional crap you have to go through, we don't need to go so deep with it, really. But yeah, for me, that was no other solution. So that's the way I walked. And by the way, so many other people are walking that path. So I'm looking for channels where I can also just share my experiences with which we can naturally help each other for burnout. Also, it's so much expectations that that are around us, and we grow into that forest of expectations, and we live up to those expectations. What a terrible life, right? It's like you have no freedom at all for your own personal dreams, space, because you're always busy with fulfilling someone else's expectations, which, by the way, never can come to a resolution, because expectations have a nature by which, even those expectations are fulfilled, you don't feel happiness. So what's the point at all? It's so pointless, really. It's the most pointless thing in life. So we just have to find our way that feels good, that gives us joy and happiness, and also, of course, the material background, because we still live in a material world, although there lies so much more behind it, which we don't know about still. Or maybe we do. It's a learning path. But that's what makes life so magical. Also, if you get more sensitive by doing frequently meditations, yoga, or whatever your passion is, you just can connect to places and people on a so much deeper level that for me was not even possible to imagine, because I was not connected to myself on that level. And of course, that's the base of everything, to be connected to yourself, and as the level of that, to your core, to your heart, how should I express it, to your authentic being self as you are, beautiful child of light. But yeah, just to be what you are without any guilt or shame or fear. That's quite a big task, if we are honest. All those things we bring with ourselves, we learn from our families, we experience, and then have fears from that to happen again. It's natural protection mechanisms of the ego, and that it is there to evolutionary, it was there to make the survival possible. So that's why we had to learn which plant was poisonous, which plant was good for us. But it is long not anymore about survivor in a human life. So basically, if you live in Europe, to survive, it's basically so basic, because we have a social network and we are so supported we have such a comfortable life. And yeah, there are parts where survival is a bit more challenging as that, but still the knowledge is preserved in so many written and visual forms lately in the past few centuries, that we really have all the possibility to learn from that. So we don't lose the knowledge anymore. So we don't have to remember which plant was poisonous because we just read about it, and anyway we won't be able to get that in shop because everything is certified. Quite handy. So our mind receives as such another role, and our mind's ability to protect us is more getting sort of a disadvantage because it takes away all the possibilities for us. If we are too much afraid from life, from things, from new things, we stay too much in our comfort zones because it just feels pretty. So that overprotectiveness actually prevents us from living life and experiencing that beautifully exciting manner of way of living that we are here to do, or which is real life. And if I'm talking about it like yeah, was I nervous before hitting the live button again? Yes, I was. Yet it's still something I want to pursue, and that's a little uncomfort that I'm feeling at the beginning or before it. It's just not worth not doing things. And with time I will get used to it, and it will get less scary to be live. But until then, I just go with it. I accept my fear, I accept my discomfort, and I do it anyway, because that's what life is about. Because after all, I feel it's a beautiful thing to be able to share any creation or meditation or anything with you guys. It's amazing that we can do that. So this is also just one more remedy that the modern technology gave us. Not to feel so isolated, not to feel so alone, and be connected here. In words or energetically, it doesn't matter. But we are here in a space which is a healing space. At least we are. We have healing symbols. So we do have something with healing. Good. Oh, now come the messy symbols, the messy side. So how does this moon look? I also brought those symbols or the book for you, where I learned the symbols from. It's a Hungarian author, and she is brilliant. I'm not sure she is still alive, because a few years ago I ordered books from her personally, and from her personal email. It was available if you want, just on internet in her web shop, so you could just order directly. And I tried again last year, and she was not available anymore, and that phone number, her phone number was not working anymore. She was not an acquaintance or a friend, it was just someone, an author who was available for the public and who wrote books. But she, and she was not available either on the telephone, on the email. So either she decided to get away from civilization and live somewhere in our in the forest, hidden away from everything. Or there had been another reason to that. Hey, Apple! Hi, welcome. Sorry, I'm a bit slow with the reactions because I tend to focus too much on the project and babbling. So how are you doing? Here's all good. I'm feeling much better from sickness already. So today we went out for like 10 minutes, which was really enough because it's really damn cold outside. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Are you asking from Bierengel or me? Oh, yeah. My chat is a little bit slow. Oh, yeah, cool. So, yeah, it is better, but it takes a long time. So I'm surprised how this sickness really got me. And what are your plans for today still? Oh yeah, it's just what the Bierengel says. It is indeed a bag project. From a textile bag, we have to make an art item. Can be anything, either painted bag or just anything we invent that expresses our nationality and our connection to that. So given that I'm Hungarian, as you know from yesterday, I made this bag with healing Hungarian symbols, very, very ancient symbols. And the deer that led, according to the legend or myth, it led the two brothers, Hunor and Magor, led back them to the Carpathian Valley, where Hungary is located right now. That's how the story goes. Oh, the escape rooms comes from Hungary? No, I had no idea. Wow. That's so funny. I only know about the Rubik Cube, which you can see in every American movie. It's really amazing. I'm so amazed that was indeed a Hungarian thing, and for so long I couldn't solve it. No, so escape room. Wow, brilliant. Yeah, it's funny because that's kind of so many brilliant ideas come from Hungarians sometimes, because that's like sort of in connection that what this bag is about. This is about our connection with God, with light, with universe, be it, and with your own intuition, of course. Tunnel system from Hungary to Austria, yes. That can be real. You would be surprised what they can still find. You never know. Maybe they dig up something. So yeah, and that intuition gives us sometimes, if we are open to it, brilliant ideas. But so funny that those Hungarians who really made it, they don't live in Hungary anymore, which is kind of sad. But the circumstances are not really supporting those things, or intuition, or just our divine channel, because you're so busy with surviving that you don't have time to be brilliant and invent things. So I'm really grateful for being here, to be able to live here. I have such a happy life here, amazing friends. I was wondering if you know anything maybe about if there is something as a nationality characteristics, or like what are the Dutch people bringing into the world? Because I was thinking about, for example, handel, commerce, because they were merchants for such a long time, for centuries, right? And cheese, yes, of course. Of course, but I'm sure if you find some French people, They would claim that as well. But the Dutch teas are very different, and I love the Dutch teas. Bringing into the world. Satay, krupuk, ha ha ha. Frakke. That's it. That's brilliant. I don't know if you know the film Tulipani. It is about a Dutchman who goes somewhere, I think 19th century maybe, goes by bike to Italy with a bag. Yeah, the Tulipani, indeed. Stampot, yes. Those things are really healthy, so whatever you say, it is a good thing. So he goes by bike to Italy with just a bag of tulip bulbs or onions, or how do you call it? Bulbs, I think. And he starts life again. Oh yeah, because here they had a flood and they lost everything. I believe even his wife died or something, so something tragical happened why he didn't want to stay. I think the whole village was flooded. It was actually due to a historical event, which was there was a flood in a certain region in the Netherlands, but a big one which washed away a whole city. So those people were left with nothing. So he goes to Italy and builds up a life there, but it's extremely funny. It's just so sweet. So it is really worth to see. My family in Hungary feeds all the people frikandel special. Is your family in Hungary? Oh, Appel, I didn't know that. That's brilliant. Okay, yeah, just do it. They love meat. So I'm sure they love your frikandel special. It is for sure very yummy. I just don't eat meat. Usually don't like the taste of it. So I'm not a good market for that. But I heard that don't know the movie, and they are Dutch, but they live there. Oh, brilliant. Do they live in the south or middle or in the north, west or east? I'm so curious because I heard there are complete villages there which are Dutch. I'm so curious and I want to the south, yeah. Yeah, indeed, they're next to the Danube, small villages, and also next to Page there are small villages that are completely Dutch. Funny thing, when I came back from Brussels, I was babysitter there when I was 19, and I landed with some friends next to Page in the south. And we were just hitchhiking next to the road, and it was also a Dutch couple who picked us up, and we had a great talk. I love the people. They even invited me to their home here. It's so amazing. They're just so lovely. And yeah, that was my first ever connection, I think, to Dutch people. So de Beering says in Lissabon, paar keer voor werk en vakantie geweest, waren voor Nederlanders die een frituur zijn gestart met alleen maar Nederlandse spullen. Dus kroket, frikandellen en loopt als een gek. So, just to translate, yeah, in Lisbon there are also Dutch people, Dutchies, who do that with French fries. French fries, the Dutch national food. No, I won't say a word, but yeah. And croquette and frikandel and the Dutch fried things, which are so yummy. Yes, and it really goes well. So the Portuguese also love it, but the Portuguese also love meat. So that's, I guess, also a very good market. Right. And it's a funny thing that I just happen to have my Lisboa t-shirts. Yay! Fun, isn't it? That's also where my Camino started, or yeah, I intended it to do from Lisbon, but I ended up in Porto, which is a bit Yeah. A bit misfortunate because I got robbed on Brussels airport with changing flights. I fell asleep. So, but luckily nothing essential was stolen, only my money, and you can always replace that, right? And the rest, yes, Dutch brought trading into the world and still do are on the top of that. Yeah, I've got the Hungarian salami laying around from Christmas. Oh, that's so yummy. Now, if I eat meat, that's the thing I eat most because it's just so tasty. Right, I love it too. It's so strong. Yeah, that's true. Pig salami. Yeah, that is true. And yeah, the Dutch and the trading, that's what I wanted to yeah, get had to get used to it, I guess. Yeah. So the Dutch and the trading about the satay and the rest is brilliant because I think that is why the Dutch people are so open and so accepting. It's really great feeling to live here because it's kind of a base rule to accept things that are different, and I think that comes from trading because Dutch were on the ocean visiting different cultures for hundreds of years, and there is no such thing as how do you call it when you are afraid of foreign things or just something that is different. There are so of you are guys so open. I find it beautiful, really. And that's, I think, due to the hundreds of years when it went from generation to the generation, just the general knowledge that, yeah, it's just okay. We are all different people, and it's so great to know different cultures and learn from each other. And I still feel that vibe over here all the time. Accepting after debating if we can accept Yulu? You, yeah, and then still debate if the debate was okay. Yeah, that represents today a little bit more. En Appa says, I don't know wat een boer niet kent, dat lust hij niet. That's possible. So I'm saying that because it's a general culture, but of course there are regions. Also, where we live, I would say it is a tendency. But yeah, I guess it's really like that. Yeah, our mind that wants to keep in the comfort zone, isn't it? So that's why I said at the beginning that our mind, switching from sort of survival, because we practically almost sure we'll survive because there's so many things supporting us, our mind tends us to protect from new things, which is not comfortable for it, because they're new, we don't know, and new things and unknown things are always scary. And then, yeah, what you don't know, it's scary. So you tend not to go that way. But on the other hand, I'm so glad that I'm here because this is freaking scary for me. I have a lamp fever on the stage since I was 20. Before that, I was a natural. I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite place, the stage, and I used it a lot ever since I was 4. Actively till 16, 17, and after that it just stopped. And till the present moment, I'm just really shaking if I have to go public with anything. So this streaming thing, my mind always tells me, no, I don't want that. Leave me alone. I want peace. I want silence. I want nobody. But that's not true. That's not what I want. That's what my mind wants. And I don't always listen to it. I tend to listen to it less and less and just go with my feelings instead, which is rather challenging, but I still love the experience because that's what makes life so exciting. So what is what you challenge you with, guys? What is your challenge for this year, let's say? Have you thought about that? Aha, sounds complicated, but good that you tried. No, that's might be complicated, but that's my life, eh? It is all about putting down old bad karma and just building something new from it. So yeah, that's a kind of normal for me. But normal is really different for all of us, huh? What we are used to and where our comfort zone lies. For example, I might be afraid from many things that you do, guys. So I'm really, really curious. What is your out of comfort zone? Of what are you trying this year which you haven't tried before, for example? Can be a taste, a country if you can finally travel, or an activity, or let's say boot camp, a real job, nicely said. What is real? My challenge is applying for a real job. Yeah, okay. So now, Apple, let's stop for a moment. What is real? Real job? You mean you have a boss who argues with you? It's different than just a student job. The biggest challenge is Brussels. Oh, Peter, come on. So, yeah, a real job. I get that. And it can be really good and same time really exciting and also scary sometimes. I know people who really love that kind of experience and that setup. Unfortunately, since my burnout, I know that won't work for me anymore. So I have to look for alternative solutions, just like because I just cannot take it anymore. My body can't. It gives such reactions to it's extreme reactions to every normal or real job things. I just can't survive there. Really strange, but I have to look for places or still real job, but kind of I'm able to do that. That is really fitting into the picture, just like art therapy with people. I can do it as a real job as an art therapist or giving yoga lessons. And what is the direction of your real job, Appel? Yeah, everything can be a job, but I mean that I've studied for instead of filling shelves at the supermarket. Yeah, I was not supposed to that you extremely want to do to fill up shelves in the supermarket. I get that. So, what is your passion? What have you studied? And I hope that what you studied is your passion because that's the best thing. I mean, here in the Netherlands, you really have a big space for that. Although I don't know how expensive that is to study here. Because in Hungary, it is for free, at least your first degree, if they haven't changed that since I was there. It was 20 years ago. So it could have changed since then. And yeah, I can imagine a real job at a foundation, for example, where I help people, I teach art, something like that. That could be a working or in a school with kids, art therapy, something like that could be working. Challenge for me, everything I want to do with beer and a stream, to be honest. And that's absolutely okay, right? Because if that's your passion, you either can find, hey, that was what was that sound? Oh, thanks for the follow, Silver Finby. Hi. Thanks so much. So kind of you. Getting out there and say no to the ones who deserve a big no. Oh yeah, that can be really liberating. It's same about telling the truth, right? Just to tell the truth, even if it might dissettle other people or might be unsettling for them. That's something which is still worth it because being honest is so liberating, really. Yeah, I don't know the difference between my passion and what I like in a job. I guess you need some experience to know that. Because there were parts in my previous jobs what I did, what I really, really liked. And that's why I enjoyed the job. I believed in it. I believed in myself. I was enjoying those parts. Yeah, still with me. Thanks for the follow again. The viewing is so attentionate to say that too. So, for example, communicating with people, helping people, kind of supporting them, analyzing problems, speaking different languages, changing between them. Those were really things that challenged my mind, and I loved the environment. Only when the environment got so pushy that they all the time just I overstepped my own boundaries, and I was too late to notice. Then I end up in a burnout, and there's no way back. In my case, maybe it can be different for all of you. So I'm really, if you're open to share that, I'm also curious what you are studying. But you can say making processes, experiences, and conversions on web pages better. Okay. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's kind of that's a brilliant topic for now to discover. That's your interest, and that's brilliant because it's connected with the people, with the experience, and the technical side, how you can do that. So for me, that's a whole range you capture with that passion. It sounds really exciting. I'm up for that because we're going to that direction. And I'm curious about Silverfuni. What is your dream or challenge or something that you haven't tried yet this year? What would be something new that you would try that brings you out a little bit out of your comfort zone? Maybe we need some color on the bag. Do we have a bucket with paint to dip in? Yeah. What on the bag? Okay, so I will explain the symbols. So much to do in the direction. That's true. Making experiences, processes more usual friendly, or just better experience. It is brilliant. Oh, my challenge. Oh, my challenge is to get through my childhood trauma, which is really unsettling. I can say that because there have been the first 8 years basically were very difficult from several points of views, and I have a big bag of that with me now. So maybe you don't see that now, but that's also partially because I ended up in a burnout, because at a certain time just everything came out. So when I reached a point when it was low enough, then it just opened the door and all my childhood traumas are in my face right now. So it is kind of painful to go through all that again, but I think it's really necessary, and I think it will free up my energy immensely if I do that. Plus I want, because I won't have to fight my painful memories anymore, find my emotions, because many times I'm so defending, letting in that negativity. I just closed out for like 20-30 years. I just didn't want to know what happened back then because it's so painful. But of course that's why the channel is Manifest Your Dreams. If we don't know our subconscious, then we manifest from our subconscious because it's directing us from the background. So I closed it off, and what happened, it was directing me unwillingly. So I didn't want that, but it just happened. I made a lot of crap in my life because I just couldn't do better, but it's all due to that unworked trauma. So I try to control it better, do it better, but still it just takes away so much energy to keep that pain hidden. So I decided this year I gotta be confronted with it, and I go into it willingly, and we work out what we can work out. So let's see. I think my life is already so much better in the past 2 years. It hasn't been easy, but it has been a lot of forwards and upwards directing things. And that's a good step. Thank you. And I just really want my energy back. The one or even more than before the burnout, because I want to discover so many things and I'm ready for it right now. But I just really lack the physical, emotional energy to do that. So it still has a lot of effect on me. So let's up the bar a little bit this year and just go for it. And of course, it is perfectly in line with my yoga education that I'm following for a year now. It's still 1 year, but I will start teaching in the coming weeks already. Just a bit of practice. Yeah, and that's kind of the yoga way as well, because yoga is just one step to strengthen our body, to strengthen our mind, or our ability to use our mind in a way that it supports us, which I kind of explained it in another stream. A structure of the mind was this. Oh yeah, maybe it's more visible like that, so that we can, basically it's our perception or ego or I doership, when I'm aware that I am the one doing things, and the buddhi, the intellect. And when we act or think from intellect, then it means we act from our wisdom. So it's completely in line with my yoga studies, and I think that's can be a reason why it popped up right now, this year. If I check the group, everybody is going through deep shit in the yoga education. So it's not just movement and exercises, but it really challenges our mind, our soul, and whole system. But that's brilliant. That's why we are there. It is so beautiful. Good. Now, I think, oh, what's on the back, you ask, Apple? Sorry, I'm sometimes a bit distracted and I forget about it, but then I remember. So, what is on the bag? Basically, what I tried to depict, this is the golden deer. It's not golden yet. I will put a little bit of color on it, sort of golden silver shine on it, but I don't want to make it too much. This is the one who led, according to the legend, the two twin brothers. Yeah, I saw that one with light. Oh, you saw that? Oh, that's brilliant. Indeed. So that is symbolizing our inner leader or upper self. But according to this book, which was my inspiration, it explains it so brilliantly. I will just show you just some basic information. There are two forces, and that is switching to, or just connected with the Chinese old ancient philosophy and not Hinduism, but the Indian yoga philosophy as well. That are two powers creating forces, the outward and the inward. And there is one which goes in a horizontal line. So the outward energy is the yang energy, the active, the masculine, the creator, which is Shiva in the Hindu philosophy, and the inward direction, which is the yin, and Vishnu. No, it is Shakti. That is the inward directing forces, which is the maintainer. And that is what gives form to things, because it will concentrate the energy, just as we have a physical body. So it is so concentrated and our cells are vibrating. And that's why we have a sensation that this here is physical. It's touchable, it's sensible for us, but it's just an inverse energy that is keeping it so strong together that that it feels it is sensible for our senses as humans. And there is this horizontal movement, which is like our arms horizontally stretched, for example, and if you look at it, we shape a cross. And that is also how our chakra system is set up, and the center where the arms are located is the center of the heart. That's why the heart represents the sun, let's say, like if we go to Christianism, it is Jesus energy. And I've heard, I don't know, I haven't read the Gnostic literature, but they say originally it was Father, Mother, and Son. As also the Shiva is a male god in Hinduism, and Shakti is the feminine god in Hinduism. So the willpower and the inward power, the maintaining power, is female. So male power is towards outside. It's the sun, it's shining, it's knowledge. And the inwards is accepting, receiving, maintaining, compressing everything that is tending to physically manifest things in this reality. And the sun is a connection. So if we are connected with our arms, for example, to other people, it is giving with right hand, receiving with the left one. That's how our system is put together. And those symbols, if you look at it, for example, the panther. It is a panther. I don't know if it's recognizable, if it's really a panther, but it is meant to be a panther. For example, that is a male symbol of willpower, of leadership, and that is also visible in the Orion, which is symbolic representation or manifestation of the same force in the universe. So Orion for the Hungarians is really meaningful because it is the leader. Nimrud, they say he was a spiritual magician sort of king with great knowledge, and that is because it is the Ur will, or the ancient, the primordial will, intention that is there to create something. So that is also the X. There is an X. The X is also a symbol for the same power. And this is a warrior, or like a hunter, with the two brothers, Hunor and Magor, who are symbolized as the twins in the Hungarian mythology on the sky. They were also hunting the deer, but they never could catch it. So that's how they ended up in the Carpathian Basin. Sometimes I say valley, but it's not a valley, it's a basin. Good. And also the griffin. I depicted a sort of griff here, or a turul, as they say. What else is here? Oh, and the symbol of it is the red rose. So this is kind of rose pattern. It's not typical because it's from the Hungarian folklore. If you see some old clothes, then they do depict this. This is called the macho rose. It's kind of difficult to see it because it's just a cutout, but it does have bubbles. So it is set up from layers, just like our aura layers, or an onion, said Shrek, but he was right. We are just set up from layers, and the higher we get in consciousness and knowledge, the more we can comprehend from that system. Good, but also we have layers till we let people in. For example, there's an outer layer, you just keep distance, and then the deeper or closer friend someone is, the more you let into your inner circle. Isn't it like that? And the other symbols are, for example, the Shakti, or the feminine, or the Yin symbols are the deer, and this is also the materia, rosemary, which is also kind of like the deer, the antlers of the deer, a little bit, in that form, how it grows. And there's the Canis Major, so the big dog symbol, but I really didn't know how that looked like, and I depicted the Orion here, which is the 3 stars with a belt, the 4 around and 1 on the top. That's how I see it always, and I know there are more stars in it, but I just they're just mostly not visible with bare eyes, but after you can connect the lines like this. Now, and the sun, which I symbolize with the also with the sun and the flying sun, like the sun with wings, just to symbolize its freedom. And that's also a symbol with the flying heart, because if our hearts are free, then basically we are free, and we can embrace that beautiful freedom of life that I mentioned before. Also the cross, so if you look at the X from the other side, that is a cross, so it's also a symbol of the child. It doesn't need to be a sun, it doesn't matter, it's just a son as the child was the meaning. And the circle, oh yeah, I put the moon symbols on it, the crowing, the crescent, the waxing and waning moon, and a full moon or new moon. The tulip, which is also a male symbol, fertility symbol, very much present in Hungarian folklore here. And the triangles are the symbols of creation. It is how the number 7 is pretty magical, not only in Hungarian, but also again in the Hindu or Vedic literature from ancient India, because there is, they say, yeah, it is all explained with those directions. There is an expanding direction, an inwards direction, and as the two, just the outwards and the inwards, come together and something is manifesting, it starts to turn. So they explain it first, there is a cross this way, then there is a cross this way because it starts to turn, and the whole system forms two pyramids on each other. And the pyramids just turn around because that's the movement in creation. That's a Hungarian mythology for the creation of the world, which is derived from our ancient runes. So we also had runes before, which we read from right to left, and letters had meanings, and those meanings just, they tell the story, because we still have it in our words. That's why I love my language, because it's just so wise. If you think about what the words mean, and if you split up the words to what does it mean literally, it is really what stays behind or stands behind that symbol or word or thing. Like, just to say one example, to stay healthy. Healthy is wholeness, the person who is with wholeness. Or if is someone jealous, that means literally the one who easily gets a tendency to get afraid or be afraid. So, because if you think about it, jealousy is something when you think that someone can do something that you would like so much in your life and you think you're not able to do that, so then you're jealous. But it's not true, because if you step on the road and try, you will eventually get there, because we have helpers and we are so much supported to get to our goals, especially if it's on our life path. But as I said before, we do have free will. So whatever you figure out, you find out for yourself, you are supported. And all we have to do is just to ask for help from anything, basically, physically or in meditation, from light beings, whatever you feel connected with. Those energies can help you. That's why meditating is so brilliant, because then you can get into unity. It's not only that you have a great concentration, a focus gets so much stronger. It's really amazing. I really want to get, when I did a 9 weeks meditation course, which was extremely intense, we had to meditate 3 hours daily, plus do some morning exercises, like 3/4 of an hour with physical movements and such. It was heavy, but I never ever since then was in such a sharp focus and concentration as back then. It was amazing, guys. And just to observe what a human being is capable of, because that is open for all of us. Of course, now, since then, my whole physical reality, my relationship went, or I just left that relationship, which might have been a mistake, but given that I'm a much happier person now, I think I wasn't. But back then it was really difficult. So I went into a full negative circle with everything I thought I was going to my desires. But as said, my subconscious was working without me knowing. It wasn't the right direction to me, but I learned from it. And although it was really heavy and it was several years of process, it brought me so down, so deep, that from that moment I had no other thing than either to end it. But I've read some Buddhist books, how much trouble we go through if we deliberately end something that was not meant to be ended. And so I just know it wasn't worth it. So I didn't do anything about it, luckily, because now I'm such more happier person than I am. So it's really, we are here for a reason. I know that for sure. And ever since, my life hasn't been always easy, but it's a way upward. And I learned to handle my tendencies and learned to recognize them and change them. Although sometimes it is really difficult to change, but recognizing is already one big step. If we see each other or see ourselves, we can see also each other much better. That's true. But that's already giving us a possibility to do something about it, or just accept it, because that's the first step. Many times if we have accepted what is, it just goes away, because that was the point. Total acceptance. Yeah, that's me at the moment. I'm a developing being, but that's where I am. It's so liberating, like every truth we have. Oh God, I blabbered so much. So guys, sorry for that. Sometimes I get just carried away in my thoughts. I'm so curious if you have still things that you want to share. Maybe, yeah, plans for this year, like starting a good job and cooking. Oh, cooking is so brilliant. The beer angle is really good in that. I'm still learning from him. And what do you like to cook, Appel? Color. Yes, I can help you with color. So cooking, I'm so curious. What is your dream to be able to cook, if you have something, or just in general, cooking anything that you like? And how can you, for example, follow recipes? Because that's so hard for me. I just always tend to put one thing in that is not in a recipe, or different proportions, or I just don't manage to follow a recipe, like basically follow anything. But yeah, other than my own creativity, which is also just challenging sometimes, because sometimes we just have to do it, but others have already learned. Regarding cooking, I'm already gonna fix something, if you don't mind. Of course. Have a stream to start at 8:30. Oh, 7:30. Oh, great, Appa. Yeah, just enjoy, and thanks so much for stopping by. Oh no, that was the beer angle. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. With the chicken. Yeah, Peter also loves the chicken. He is a chicken fanatic. Just continue with your stream and color that thing. Oh yeah, because that's what I wanted to do, to color it, right? And I carried away and got carried away and still didn't do any coloring. But first I will do some acrylic one to this part, which has been really stressful last time because it dried so fast. The recipe I made in December was good and not hard to do. If you say so, the Biranga, I'm sure he can pass you the recipe, Apple, if you want that. It was really yummy, he said. Sometimes I'm also tasting what he's cooking because I don't drink alcohol, but I love to discover taste. So I'm usually tasting his beers or even wines, but I can't drink more than a deciliter. Sometimes that even is too much for me. I just don't know. Sometimes a small glass of wine is really beautiful, but I don't feel like just with meat. I don't feel like eating meat because I have this smell always in my nose, which is really sorry guys. It's for me it just smells disgusting, and I don't know why that is, but it's just that smell that keeps me back, that I feel every time, that keeps me back from eating meat because I just don't. Yeah, I don't like it. Probably that's it. So I'm not pushing it anymore. And by the Hungarian salami, because it's so spicy, I can't feel that smell. I feel the spices, so that's the only reason I can eat that. And sometimes salmon. Salmon really helps me recover. It helped me recover from this sickness. So sometimes periodically, yeah, I do take an exception, which is really healthy, I think, because we just have to go with what's good for us. Yes, with the chicken. I want to make the recipe Nadine gave to Peter. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, Nadine, I'm curious. Is she also? She's also streaming, right? I haven't seen her cooking yet, but she gives great ideas. Yeah. Yep. But for me, seeing how happy Peter is with eating meat, I really am sure that it is good for him, because if something makes you so happy, then you should by all means do it. So I would never deny him that pleasure, because that's not the point here, right? We are here to enjoy life and go for it. Amen to that. Good. I will prepare the bag for acrylic one treatment. And let's see, oops, make a big mess. I just wanted to also be able to stand on that part. Hopefully I managed that. But it's not that extremely hard. Yeah, let's see, hopefully it will work. And yes, I wanted to paint this macho rose, which is a heart symbol, but this is my interpretation on it. Funny thing, I just started to draw once, and with an intention to draw this macho symbol, but again, as everything, it didn't end up as it is in the books. I don't know if I can show you that. Maybe there is a example here in the book. Those are, by the way, the symbols we talked about, symbolizing the cross, the X, the boy, the creation, willpower. Healing is the 8 star. And everything that is spiral, it represents the movement. So that is the movement of creation, or the moving force of the universe, because the whole universe is set up from these two powers. Even in yin and yang, there is the yin part, the yang part, and the small parts in each other, plus there is a circle around it, which is the endless, the infinite. So that is where the universe enters and unites the two symbols. Macho. Oh, that is, if you have been to Transylvania, this is a typical door in the garden. So from the street, you get through this door into the garden, and after that into the house. Those are beautiful, all packed with those symbols, because they did keep these traditions. And this one too. Those are the old boxes which they kept the stuff for the bride, since they collected since she was a little girl, to give it with her when she got married. So that was her bed linen, and whatever she needed in her whole life was put in this. It still fits. So they had much less stuff than we do. Guys, I don't know what you think about it. I'm trying to just give away as much stuff as I can, because we really don't need that much. I noticed. And the people who are so much appreciated in my life, like were really my teachers, I noticed that they live with very little, and it's amazing. So actually we don't need that much, and I want to live that way, be conscious of that. Here you can see a little bit the tulips on the chair, on the box again. Those are the tulip symbols. I still couldn't find that rose thing. Oh, here is this is a metallic finding that they found in the Carpathian Basin from gold, symbolizing the golden deer. And this is our turul, the griffon. So those are the feminine, masculine symbols. And the turul we have on the mountain, maybe Apple, you know, there is a big turul on the top of the mountain in Tata, between Tata and Tatabánya. So halfway between the border and Budapest, if you come from Austria. So, and the funny thing, you can also see the spiral in the roads. So those moving forces, those symbols, and the rosemary, they come back in basically everything, because the universe, I always say the universe has recipes for everything, certain blueprints. Now, I didn't find a typical macho rose, but anyway, it is a little bit similar to this kind of pattern, which is basically a kind of typical folk pattern. Many folklore uses the same symbols all over the world, like in Mexico. I went to Mexico because I found it so fascinating that their traditional patterns, especially in the Oaxaca region, with the big colorful flowers and those amazing colors that they use, how they are connected with Hungary or our past or folklore at all, because those symbols or those patterns are so similar. So I still, back then, I didn't exactly find the solution. I'm still in research, but there is a connection. And it lies in those symbols, really. So that is also a little bit the proof that those symbols are universal, and they are not connected to my nationality or your nationality. It's something that we understand by nature, because it is just so much connected to our vibration. So I think those symbols can be really healing, because we don't have to understand everything behind it. It just works, like colors. It also just works. We don't have to know a lot. I tend to get more and more knowledge and understanding about what those symbols really mean. So it seems very simple at the beginning, but there lies the whole universe behind it. Just like in Kundalini Yoga, there is this Karam Kriya numerology. They say the whole universe is encoded in the 10 numbers from 0 to 9. And it is like that. So they study for 2.5 years the meaning of numbers and how the universe is encoded. But as I said, everything is vibration. So the whole same things are encoded into numbers, into letters, by the way. The letters also have an association to numbers. That has an association to colors. Funny enough, when I made my color analysis for my name, those were the colors that came out. So those are, if I make that color analysis for my name, for my vibration for this life and present moment, because it's my married name as well, that changes also a lot. For me, it changed my life in many ways. So now I have the chance to develop further and go deeper into myself, like working with the childhood trauma, because I now have the security, the safety to be able to do that. Before that, it was not present, so I was always moving, never had the stability to work it out, really, because that's what you need to grow roots. I never had roots. If you don't have roots, look at the flowers or the plants. Which plant can grow anywhere without roots? It stays really, for example, the water plants, they stay mostly very flat on the water. They're just swimming, but they cannot grow very high because they are extending in a horizontal way, because that's the only direction they can grow, because they are not fixed anywhere. They don't have a ground to grow really hard or just strong roots, right? And look at the trees, how big roots they have, how strong roots they have, and the higher they can get nurtured from the ground and sustained from the ground or by the ground, by the roots, the higher they can grow. So it's also with us like that. Now, coming back to the name and the vibration, those are, and it was not intentional. Again, my art is usually, I have an intention and then I'm always surprised what comes out of it. So during the process, I just don't think, I just let my hand lead me. And surprising, this is a heart symbol, so, and that is what I wanted to paint on the bag. And I will work again with acrylic 1. Only I won't mix up that much as last time, because that was a mistake. A real big one. Okay, this is a 2-component material, acrylic 1. It is a powder and a liquid, and it hardens after, I would say, max 15 minutes. It gets so hard that you are not able to work with it anymore. Max 20 minutes. Okay, I was quite slow with this bag, but yeah. So, and how does it work, Appel, with the web pages, and make it more user-friendly, or more according to make the experience better? Do you work more on the person side or on the computer programming side? Because there are so, okay, I'm not really familiar with this direction, but I imagine it is kind of challenging to be present in both. I imagine you have to be the person side. Yeah, you're person, people's person, they say. Yeah, that's great. For me, it's sometimes very difficult to translate the experience to facts and take action on that. That's kind of a challenge. You need an analytic mind. What do you need? Which quality do you need mostly to make it good? I'm so curious. I guess I'm a blade of grass then. Oh, come on. Maybe you feel so because you haven't tried your powers yet. But come on. I think you just don't know your strengths yet, because for that we also need experience to recognize how strong we are and to get the space. And maybe you feel as a grass because you only had this tiny space till now, and when you get space you discover, oh, I can grow actually much bigger. And that's a great thing to do. Oh no, not again that stuff, Peter says. Yeah, it's very analytical. I love analytic thinking. Actually, spirituality for me is very analytical a lot of times, or just a lot of open thinking. It's very logical. So all the things that I discover are actually just pure logic. But it also, of course, that side is also very connected actually to this part. Because do you have to know people a lot, or do you have to know how they react? I often notice that I sometimes take away the experience or part of it, because I just tend to start to analyze, and instead of analyzing myself, especially going through a few years of psychology studies, I made myself crazy with that stuff for a lot of time. Sorry, I have to drink a bit, so I will mute myself. Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, you have to study behavior on the website. Oh, that's so exciting. How we react when we go further. Yeah. And how to keep people on one spot. I had made that experience with my web shop, and I figured that I have no idea, or before I had no idea about how to keep people on my page, or how to nurture them, how they feel safe and how they feel nurtured and supported. And that's also the kind of feeling what I'm looking for, how I can provide that. It's a way of learning. I find it so interesting. There's a lot of psychology included in that, I think. I would expect. Isn't that so? So now I will concentrate a little, because this stuff reacts so fast. So when it dries, it will be as hard as plastic. Of course, you might want to use more layers. But they say they use it also on yachts to repair them, to fix them. So once it dries, it just gets impermeable or waterafstotend. No idea. Water resistant. Yeah, that's the word. I don't make it too thick now, because that was a mistake I did the last time. I made it too thick. And then I ended up with a lot of trouble. Yeah, actually a lot different color can make a difference. Oh yeah, colors, they have just so much impact. Lately I have been studying color healing, color therapy, and I actually know how much a color can mean in our lives. So I have making some color analysis first to some people, if on my art therapy lessons, or just people who were curious. It's amazing how much color affects us, and I see it also in my art therapy courses. In the last 10 years already, how much effect it can have on the soul. And I imagine with colors you also have to express what you want to express with the message, what you want to give with your page, because it can change the whole lot. So yeah, color is a magic thing, which I noticed lately, and it was a shocker again. But it's true that before, so for in my Gothic period, I was only wearing black for like a good few years. And when I stopped that, due to that energetical healing sort of thing, I couldn't stand the black anymore, and I knew that it blocked me kind of. So I started to wear colors, and then I just had to have every color in my wardrobe, and I really went emotional shopping for colors. I never went shopping for clothes. They were clothes, of course, but I went hunting for colors. I was in a color hunt. And what I've noticed afterwards, just quite recently, really, that all those emotions which were blocked due to those childhood traumas, I try to bring that energy into my life with colors. So that's how art therapy, art, and colors in general can be so healing. It's only our eyes which can receive that information. So we see that vibration with our eyes, but that effect is just so powerful that yeah, I was using that, if I think back, for at least 15, if not 20 years. Yeah. That's how powerful it is. And now that I am able to live out my anger and all other emotions on the range with that, so I am experiencing emotions that I never experienced before because they were just blocked. They were trapped somewhere which I couldn't get to, or where I couldn't get to. I also noticed that I mostly just love to wear jeans and white or dark blue, but dark blue was also connected to some injuries from the father's side, from the masculine side. So I have, yeah, that's why my painting pullover is dark blue now, because I only use it for painting now. But yeah, white and light colors, and I just don't need it that much anymore because I included the emotions instead, which is much healthier. So, but until we can do that, I mean, some people are struggling with working with their emotions. You can work a lot with colors in your life, and that will help you a good range. I also noticed that some people, if they are not okay with a certain emotion, they also don't like to wear that color, for example. And that's a very natural holding back force to that energy that they don't want to experience, because the color will open them up to that experience. And the mind, as said, is always sensitive or tends to be self-defensive until we don't know better. Don't give that much space to it. And it just doesn't feel right. For example, let's say I still have troubles with living out, like wearing, for example, red with purple. For me, that's just such a no-go. But as turns out, I do have a difficulty with connecting the red is the base chakra, the physical sphere, and the purple is either on intuition or the crown chakra. So it's all spiritual knowledge, how to live on the physical level and work with the spiritual knowledge. And I also had a tendency to connect the two in my everyday life. So either I was high up in the sky, or I was too much on earth and depressed and whatnot, or too much just busy with physical things, but I just didn't have the channel between the two. When I have to say nothing is working for the rest. So it's not really handy. Yeah. And that's why for example, I still can't stand those two colors, or I can stand because I'm conscious about it, but I just very rare moments when I'm especially doing very good emotion in all levels can wear those two colors together. It's rather an interesting experience or consciousness about that fact. But that's how all the colors can heal us so well. Also, the colorful lamps we use, those are without us knowing. We just unconsciously use the color that we need the most. So Philips did us with a great how do you call that word? Yeah, great job with hue lamps, for example, because you can search very easily any color that you like, that you need. And of course, there are no, I think there are no empirical studies, so case studies on that, not that I know. Me wearing black right now, yeah, it's okay, Abel. Harry before it's not usable anymore. Yeah, the acrylic one. But I'm actually done with the parts I wanted. So about the black, I don't know, Apple, if you were there actually. I was talking about the black color before, and the black is something which just, for example, is very good for actors. Actors use it a lot to get the center of energy. So it is, for example, for light, it's absorbent. So you get really warm in black colors, but energetically, the black is just closes up or just closes our energetic field. So it means not so much goes out, not so much goes in. And of course, if you are not that sensitive, or you are not doing yoga, meditation, or whatnot, but you can be sensitive by nature and you don't even know it that much, what that all means. Black can have a a powerful effect on you. I was just giving an example of acquaintance who I had a talk with, and I know as a fact that her energies are very chaotic for me and kind of too much present, or yeah, just too much vibration, too active, too much. And when she was wearing consciously black clothes, because she also made that observation, and she said, no, now I just don't want to feel the energy of other people. We had the exam on that day, and I was just chatting with her, and I just felt brilliant. Like I didn't have that difficulty with her anymore when what I had before when she was not wearing black. So it really just closes out a certain energy flow. But maybe it's not a problem for you. Maybe it's a great, gives a great feeling of security, because it can also mean that if you're insecure or insecure about some things and you go, I don't know, to environments when you have to present yourself, you just don't let that insecurity influence and flow out. And it's worn a lot by young people, because it's kind of clouding that insecurity they're dealing with, for example. But you can have other reasons to wear black. For example, you just want to be with your own energy and not feel the outside energy that much, and it's a completely valid aim. So if you like black and you're drawn to it, then yeah, go ahead and use it. Once you are more conscious about the energy flow and you learn to clear out the foreign energies, it's really important. And otherwise you just go crazy from all those energies around you. But then you don't need that. At least I very rarely can wear black, and also not for a long time. But it gives we can also use that in a good way. But if you see spiritual teachers, they are mostly wearing white, or gurus, some of them wearing white. But for example, the Hindu gurus are wearing, the Tibetan monks are wearing sort of golden yellow. Gold also has a great healing power and the essence of the infinite, their constant search for God, which is light and the universe and unconditional love after all. So we don't have to work with those systems exactly to understand the meaning. So yeah, self-defense is absolutely okay, and as a matter of fact, is if you use it for that reason. Of course, I'm not filling in for you. I have no idea what was your intention of feeling with it. But I do put a protective layer around me almost every morning, because just especially if you're sensitive, a protection is just a very basic thing to do, and you need that to be protected from energies that might be not that friendly, or they want to take something away from you, or just yeah, I don't know. It is all out there in the universe, so it is all an addition of several very different um, energies. There is good and bad, although I don't see it that way. I see it much more as, yeah, just like more like the Matrix, the movie. You know, I'm sure you know that. It is like a matrix. So it is just that we have to have some certain experiences until we get the message, until we understand what it means, and after that we don't have to live it through anymore. But then it means that you already have learned some methods to protect yourself from what is not necessary anymore, because what you learned, right? So that's done deal. You don't have to deal with that anymore. And that also means that you are free to go anywhere you want. You don't have to think about what kind of people there are, because you just can safely get into any environment and know that your bubble protects you. It might sound a bit dreamy, but it does work like that. It has a very powerful effect. But of course, our willpower is also plays a role in that. And until, because my those traumas, my personality was really weak by nature, because I never learned to strengthen my will or just live out my will. My willpower was also kind of lacking strength, and that's why yeah, I couldn't manifest also in with that efficiency. Sometimes I did, but not willingly, not consciously, but it just happened. So you can get lucky. Good. Now I think slowly I'm using up. This is, by the way, an old sculpture I made from kind of rubbery clay, and I would like to put it in the garden on a stock or on some stick kind of thing. But for that I have to make it waterproof. Ah, yes. So that's why the rest I used up of the acrylic one too, to make a coating on that. I might need another layer. And I always end up with completely messy hands after this. I still have layers here which are, or parts that are not covered. So just quickly finish that, and then I think I will just start to paint on the back, because it is probably hard enough, or if not, it can just dry together. If it doesn't get mangled with or mingled with the paint. I brought two kinds of paint, so I will see which one works on the acrylic one, because I never tried before. Then we will see which works, the watercolor, aquarelle, or acrylic. But I would say acrylic one with acrylic. That sounds kind of okay. Those are both plastic based, water soluble materials. Good, almost done. All right. I just quickly have to wash the Sorry for the cable. Yes, we have to wash the brushes now. Otherwise, I do have a piece of plastic later on that I can throw away. Let's see. Oh, my legs are really, really sleepy. How about you guys? Do you want to move a bit? We can stand up and dance a little bit if you like. I'm really up for it. Just a bit of movement. It's great to have some healthy habits in between. Okay, this one is going okay. And still this one. And I'm taking the paints. Yes, saved it. Good. Now, let's paint. So I will put the little rose here, the macho. Now, let's think. If it will be standing, I was thinking it could stand either on this side, which is now the top, like the other way around, or it can stand on the bottom. And then the deer will be the upper part. It's good because I do have a little glass for the... This is the lamp that I'm using. So it gets a little bit higher. Maybe I can get something even higher than that. So it's close to the deer, then it is coming through as well, because otherwise this bag is quite thick. It means the light doesn't really come through it. That's why I also started to cut those holes on the first place. So if I wanted to... this will come a little bit still in, so I will, when it's dried, I will turn it in. It gives also a firm form to the bag, and then the rose will be on that side. Okay. This is my painting trousers, so it doesn't matter what I put into it. I don't know where my towel is. Goodie. So then it means that is the bottom. And that is where I have to start this rose form. And we have quite a bit of movement range, which means this rose can be rather big. Now I try to put it in a position that you see it, guys. There are still some little parts that are missing acrylic one here. No. Some extra coating. Henriette, you didn't make a proper job. I hope it is good now. But I won't wait again, just let's hope it goes good. With the painting. Goodie. Now. And honestly, I don't think an aquarelle or watercolor is a good idea right now. So I will just go for acrylics. Some base colors, some fluorescent colors, and some water. Hope this wasn't too, loud. Oh, and before I forget, I still have to do the surface on the deer. Oh, maybe that's a good one before we start the flower. Then the acrylic one can dry a little bit more. And I will start to put some shine on the deery, the mythologic beast. So what I do is usually the metallic paints don't have such a great color to them. I don't like it that much. And therefore, yeah, what are you doing? Good. Therefore, I have a powder that I use as shine to make this beast a little bit more magical. But I have no idea how that will turn out. It can be that it will be extremely kitsch. No idea, guys. So fingers crossed. This is just a see-through what is this, varnish. Thanks Van Beek, or Bleiswijk. I'll do a little bit the white parts. Oh, let's see how this goes. And I will just bring it on with a brush. Of course, I do have some typical gold paint, but I really don't think they are nice. So I want to try to do some alternatives here. Let's see. Here goes. Let me know what you think in the meanwhile. Otherwise, if you say it's terrible, I might stop or just search for another solution. I'm open for critics, because sometimes when I'm busy with something, after a while I stop seeing it. I don't see it anymore. And then I need a fresh eye to look at things a bit differently. Hi, Sizzler. Welcome. Are you back from cooking? Or was that your double personality? How are you doing? What do you think of the deer? Is it very kitschy? Do I need some more silver gold? Or do I stop the whole nonsense? Sorry, I have to cough a bit. I will bring it closer and show you the kind of metallic quality to it. Cooking brood met kip? No way. Het geen zin vandaag. Yeah, can happen. I already didn't feel like anything else in the past days. So what do you think? Some more gold, some more white, some more purple, or is it kind of okay like this? Is it really ugly? Is it tolerable, or do you think it expresses the mythologic deer that I intended to depict? Is it shiny enough? Too shiny? Not shiny enough? Shall I bring us something from the kitchen? Yes, the toilet, please. I think it's good, thanks. No, it's okay, but I don't... Okay, yeah, so I will leave it like that. And I will just start with the rows from the bottom. But I will work hard, because... Or hard, no, forget what I say. I think I tend to get a bit tired. I work fast because this kind of dried, and I expect if it's drying for the rest together. No, nothing, thank you, sweet of you. If it dries together, then it will be bound together by the material itself, I expect. Sorry for the noise. Good. Some acrylics then. Kind of pity. I wanted to see that beautiful structure of the aquarelle, but I guess aquarelle with plastic, that doesn't work good. Let's start from the bottom. That's the safest. So I kind of combined here as well colors that I don't use much together, but this is a flower, so those color variations can be just the thing that gives it its vibrance that I'm looking for. And maybe because the acrylic one already dried more or less, I still get some kind of see-through effect from the acrylics, which is great. That's what I wanted with the aquarelles in the first place, so I'm happy with that. And my students are also always laughing because I'm not using a palette really. I always paint directly on the canvas. And I'm just mixing the colors up on the canvas, which, yeah, it's the way we do it in art therapy. And as you might know by now, I started art therapy and painting at the same time. So it was just something that I thought, yeah, I know it's good for me, so why not? It's absolutely unprofessional. All the painters have a great palette where they mix up colors, and I know it's a whole profession by itself. It's brilliant and all, but I'm just not doing it that way. But it's okay. We all have our own methods. It also kind of gives a freedom and the lightness to the creation. I don't have to stress much about the right shade. Of course, because I also never learned that, so it's kind of, I'm still learning. Color mixing is really a profession, and I look up to those people so much. For example, Arthur Gain is a teacher, an art teacher from Barcelona University, and he's also here on Twitch. He is brilliant. So I'm kind of always just checking how he mixes the colors. And I did it myself too, but still the outcome was something between Rembrandt and Van Gogh, which is really, it's not the classical style of, it was Rembrandt painting in Van Gogh style. For me, it stays challenging, but I also tend to go for very vibrant colors, which is just a natural thing I like to pursue. Oh, hey, I haven't brought any reds. Oh my, never mind. And that's a pity because the Macho Rose is mostly red. But I mean, this is my approach on my take on the Macho Rose, so I have the freedom to make it as I see fit. I still might steal in a little bit of reds from somewhere. I have the box next to me, so I might look up some colors. I mean, I see how it could give some depth to it. And again, might be that we totally come far away from the original again, because I can't do the two same things. Again, it always tends to go a bit different if I see something works better. It's kind of just listening to intuition, and we are always developing, so I just go with the flow. That's why always drawing the same pattern, it's not something that would work for me, for sure. I'm just not able to do that. Right. Good. I'm gonna dig up some red, if you don't mind. Good. I found some cadmium red in the box. Oh, I will just stretch and dance a little bit. Yeah. Cause I can't sit anymore on my knees. Please dance with me. What up, get up, get up, little bit up, get up a little bit up, get up a little bit up. Oh, this smells so much better. Yeah. All right, let's get to work. Yeah, this is not a perfect position to paint, but I always tend to find those kind of positions all around again. Good. What were we doing? This is the thing I'm aiming for. So we do have some more yellow and some more blue in it. Wondering which kind of yellow matches it. This is kind of bright. Bright yellow, it should be okay. Hey, Sizzler. What? What was that about? I'm using my trouser. Actually, I'm trying to figure out ways how I can finally throw it away because it's so old. It is a painting trouser, so I just enjoy my freedom with it. Otherwise, if it was a reaction to my dancing, yeah, sorry, I just needed it. Artistic expression overall. No, I needed the movement. My legs got completely sleepy in this position. No comment. Thanks. No, but if you think about it, this is the way I am sitting. It is a yoga pose. So, of course, I'm not being very mindful about that pose and how the energy flows, but I think it works anyway. So, I tend to. In fact, I'm doing yin yoga now. Good. All right. Goodie. It kind of looks already different from what I've planned, but again, the intention of this bag is very different, so it is also just logical that it brings me to a little bit different ways. And I'm sure after all it will turn out okay, even if it's different from the intended. That's after all the purpose of all creation, just to trust the flow, because it's something beyond us communicating through us. So if we trust that, it's fine. And then we don't have to get annoyed about losing control, because in art we don't want to be in control mostly. at least when I'm doing art, I don't want. It's not why I'm doing art. I'm doing it to give the control to something else instead of me, and I'm just a tool of that. And it feels so liberating because I just have to make it happen, let it, and it happens. Very often when I do something kind of trance-like condition, and then I look at it and like, who did that? And it's so scary because like I do have of course memories of doing that thing, but the control, I have no control about the whole process whatsoever. Good. Now, what do I want in it still? Maybe some red, but I will wait with it. And some blue. Let's see, I have two blues here. I have a petrol blue and a fluorescent blue. I'm kind of curious. We won't see much about the fluorescent color right now, but that's the one I will start with. And maybe, I see still a possibility how I could make it more layered. I kind of want to add more leaves to that rose. And this Macho rose is also a heart symbol. Connecting worlds, connecting us with each other, with ourselves, with the universe. Right, and two more on the bottom. I will add some red in it because I just need the grounding to the whole picture. All right. I kind of love the color that came out in a mix of colors. In the real on the screen, it is completely orange, but in fact, it's this peachy apricot, this sundown orange color. It's mesmerizing. And also on the bag, in fact, it's much more magenta kind of pink at the moment than orange, and it's a slightly more deeper colors. On the screen, it's unfortunately turns out a bit different every time, but that's okay. I try to make a photo after it and that you see the real colors. Good. Let's come to the blue, and at the end I'll add the red and the dark blue accents. So the fluorescent nature of this thing you won't see right now because it only comes out with UV light. At least that's what I've realized lately. By accident, because Peter was making that fluorescent beer Engel logo with the cans, with the beer cans, and then he ordered a very strong UV lamp, and then suddenly we lighted on one of my paintings, which was done with these fluorescent colors. I was so surprised because it was half of the painting was lighting up, and that's everything. It was mostly the flowers in that forest that were painted with that color, but they all lighted up. It was so amazing. I was really, really happy for that. So you can have happy little accidents in the painting, such as this green color, unintended, mixing up the blue and the yellow. It's more like a turquoise color. I really love turquoise. It's one of the most magical colors on earth for me. Oh, the turquoise blue of the sea, sometimes, which we saw in Greece. Mesmerizing, really. So I don't want to cover out the image for you guys. Sometimes I forget about myself and my head just is in the picture. Woo. Some color mixes, unintended. Those are little magics that all add up to the end results, I think. I really love those purples in it. Okay. Okay. Good. Now, a little bit of contrast here. I'll try to pull this closer. I will definitely try this with the UV lamp even before it dries, how much we can see the fluorescent light back on the colors. Okay. Right. So now I have a decision to make. I kind of can leave it as airy as it is, or I can go for a bit heaviness and add a heavy petrol color and an even heavier red color. So I'm curious what you think, guys. Would you leave it as is, or do you need a certain depth to it? What's your opinion? Let me know. I'm open. Let's make it a community project. Good. Let's see. Right now it looks like this. It's not completely in line with the other parts, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It is more... I think I will make a little experiment with the fluorescent pink. Or that might be at the end. Ah, never mind. I'll just do it. What does it mean, Sizzler? Is it... Still have to work on it, you mean? Get to work. Oh no, this dried in. No, my favorite color. Let's try one layer below. Look at that color. Oh god, it's so brilliant. Do you see it? No, on a camera not really visible, but it's really a beautiful fluorescent magenta pink or magenta pink color. Amazing. Those colors are so bright. It really lights up the whole painting. Okay, now I feel that red is really not matching the color harmony anymore. So I tend to look for my purple, if I find it somewhere in a box, and rather put that in to the harmony, because that kind of matches still. And the red completely not. However, I still want to add some petrol blue to it. Maybe that will be enough. Let's see. Some contours. Now, the purple just created itself from the petrol and the pink. I gave it a little bit of chance. So that's good enough. I'm always asking myself if I should challenge myself with portraits and landscapes, because landscapes I find doing very boring, and the portraits I find very, very challenging. But yeah, for last year that was a challenge. I did several portraits, and I'm still being busy with one, and that's kind of okay. But in art, you always also have to take into consideration what fills you with joy, what just gives you this good chill vibe, and pursue that thing, because it really doesn't matter if you feel good while doing something. People will feel it on the painting, and it will transmit that energy, that vibe to them. And that's the purpose of art too. It can transmit emotions brilliantly, and we can use it also for several reasons. It can be critical to society or whatnot. I find those things brilliant, but then it has to be the thing that fills you with joy, to express that thing, to draw attention to those things, to teach that to the world. And then the same power will also flow through that creation. And it just works for you, it works for all of us. However, if we are really struggling with painting something that's also feelable on the end result, for example, then I tend to be over precise about some details, and so it just loses the freedom of it all. And I don't know if it's really worth it. But of course, sometimes we have to make a sacrifice to sacrifice, not really sacrifice, but it's just a way of learning. It's a learning curve, and not everything succeeds on that way, and that's also completely normal. Doesn't everything has to be perfect, it doesn't even have to be good. It just has to feel that purpose of creation, which is liberating you. And sometimes that is the most ugly thing you can create. That can be really liberating too, just to come free from all the musts, the expectations, your expectations, the beauty, and it's just great to show the ugly part sometimes. That's also part of us. We are human, and we are imperfect, and that's the beauty of all of it. I will once show you the ugliest painting I made, and I really like it since then, and it kind of has this very powerful touch to it. Of course, I had to add some gold leaves to it, otherwise I felt it was too chaotic, too dark, too much, and it wasn't true, so it wasn't in balance. And with the gold leaves, it just got into that certain balance, which I find beautiful. It's harmonic, it's sattvic. All right, now I think it has some much more depth to it. The Viranga says 7:15-ish I'm starting. Hope the internet can take 2 streams. Don't forget to eat something yourself as well. Yeah, because I'm also coming to play with you guys if I'm not too exhausted after that, but I think I still feel the power in me, but I'm almost ready. So I will give the scene to the Birangel. Would be great if you kinda could stream. I just rate him. That would be fun. Now, on the original painting, the inside is blue, but now I'm really not feeling that blue in the middle. I think that blue is gone from the middle. And I wanted to do one more thing to So the Beeringer is going to play an escape room, if you're curious. Starting in about 5 minutes. So I still wanted to write the meanings of the words, of the symbols on the back. If I can make it nicely. I call it ready for now. This is how the heart rose, the macho rose, ended up on the side of the painting. Now, that's kind of expressive, it is strong. There is no red in it, but I didn't feel the need. Let's see this color. But I don't think I will add it. All right. Oh, this is really not. This is more an orange kind of color. All right. It's a light cadmium red. Oh, it is very heavy color. You can see that. Which is actually orange. Yeah, I don't need more than that. Maybe a hint. A tiny bit here. But that was about it. It's interesting to see the contrast between those fluorescent oranges and this heavy body orange. I have the tendency to make unwanted changes at the end, which are really not necessary. I hope that I don't make that mistake right now because I'm already in that direction, so I don't like it. And this is when I'm losing control, when I'm not happy with the result still. Yeah, it's just change this a little bit, change that a little bit, and then it's looking terrible at the end. Then usually I find a way somehow to fix it, but it's a lot of struggling. So let's lighten up that orange still. All right. And a little bit of more of this orange, and then it is done. And then it also has the heaviness and it has the lightness in it. All right. Good. Now. Tiny bit more yellow to add an accent, and I'm really, really ready. Good. And I don't know, I think I just skip the symbol names for now because it will look the bag messy. And it is already colorful enough with this rose, especially. Really want to make something simple, even if not intendedly beautiful, but simple. I think this kind of did the job, right? Let me see for the last time. Good. And let me see if it already stands on its bottom. I'm really curious to try it, if it's firm enough to stand on the bottom. Yes, it's kind of is. So it is kind of two-faceted with the deer and the rose. And if we put this lamp in the middle, oops. Let's see what we will see out of it. I want to see this way. Just switch off the light for a moment. Oh. Yay! You kind of see how the light is coming through. And those holes are making it a bit more interesting indeed. And if you want to see the rose, oh, look at that! In the dark it even looks better. So the rose really lights up with light colors. And it goes back with the dark ones. Oh, that's amazing. I haven't even expected that result with it. But it's really kind of cool. That rose is really visible with the dark, with the lamp inside it. Brilliant, I'm happy with it. So, Hungarian bag art project completed. La la. Thanks for being with me, guys. I just will go and rate someone. So let's see who is available right now. Thanks, Isler. I'm also kind of happy with it. The deer style doesn't match with the folklore pattern, but I don't mind. It's kind of okay. It's a bit eclectic, and the rest is so simple that I think it kind of still does fit. I am happy. Let's see. We refresh it to see who is active right now, and hey Sizzler, aren't you live yet? Would be great. Otherwise I will rate Shama Tata. She's also an artist. Not yet. Go Shama. Okay, we will rate Shama Tata. She is an artist from Portugal. Great that I have my Lisbon t-shirt still. Okay, go Shama go. She is painting a hand right now. Oh, it's really beautiful. Okay, and I will just go to... Thanks for being here, guys. Hey, Marot. Thanks for checking in. So we are going to rate Shama. So hope you'll join us. Thanks for being here and see you next time. Bye bye.